Hey everybody, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So today is March the 7th. Why is that important? It's just March the 7th. Well, for us here in the zip code that I'm in, this is our average last frost day. So I'm going to give you a quick walk around and kind of show you what I got going on, what's made it through the winter, what has not, and just give you an idea of what's going on in my garden. Alright, so come with me. Alright, so start off here in the herb garden. I've got a little bit of things growing. Got some cilantro right there. That appears to be maybe a little bit of dill. Hang on. Yep. No, that's cilantro. That's going to seed. Alright, so the cilantro is actually starting to bolt out. And then we got some of the mint growing back up in there. Needs a lot of weed pulling in here. But the mint is coming back, some oregano going crazy. My blueberries are really starting to put out now. You can see right along there, a lot of little baby blueberries. Alright, still got a little bit of ginger back here in the corner. Some aloe and such. Basically not a lot going on there. So, my little tree farm, everything's done pretty well. I really need to pull some weeds in it. A little tree area there, it's doing okay. A lot of things got killed back this winter. We had a pretty cold frost. Got down to like 25. So, like this is what's left of my roselle, which I'll be taking the flower heads and getting seed out of that. And then back over here, that is my fennel. And then more blueberries back here, there, and over here. And this little stick right there, this bad boy here, that is my Goji Berry. I've got several of them planted all throughout the yard. This apple tree hasn't really started doing anything yet. It's just looking like sticks. Not much there. Over here my strawberries are kind of looking a little rough. But partially due, I think, to the fact that we haven't got a lot of rain. I've been watering, but I don't know how that's going to work out. This other apple tree, this is an Anna. The other one I think is a Golden Dorset. This one's doing pretty good. It's got some blooms on it, some baby apples starting to form. So it's looking pretty good. Doing okay so far. Lots of pretty little blooms. We'll see if we actually get some apples. Hopefully we'll get a few. Got a couple last year. They were really tasty. And then over here is my lemon tree. This is the one I got from cuttings. Need to do a little bit of pruning on it. But it's doing well. I mean, considering it's starting to put new leaves out. You can see the new leaves there. Haven't got any blooms on this one quite yet. I don't see any. But you can see, you know, the tips that got froze off right there. So it'll come back. It'll be fine. Got a few flowers starting to come up in my wildflower bed. You go through and pull some weeds out of that. Keep it wet. And then over here, excuse the mess I got on the ground. That's all trash I'm going to be mowing up. You can see on this peach tree I'm starting to get a lot of buds. So should be starting to bud out and bloom out here hopefully very shortly. And over here, this is my nectarine tree. It's starting to put leaves out. I haven't really seen any flower buds yet. I'm not really sure about that. But that's okay. I really just want the tree to grow and get bigger. Looks like I got a couple of dead sticks I'll have to trim off on that. And then over here, this is just part of my, I guess you'd call it a fruit tree guild. I'm going to put another fruit tree in there. I just haven't figured out which one. Goji Berries just now starting to come back. A little bit of chives starting to come back. That is an artichoke right there. Starting to grow. A little bit of mustard here and there. Some other wildflowers. Now this lemon tree gave me a lot of lemons last year. And it lost, you can see all the leaves down there. It lost a lot of leaves. But now you can see a lot of new leaves, a whole bunch. coming in, and if you look, you can see a ton of flowers, or flower buds I should say. So it hadn't really started flowering out quite yet, but it's coming. It's coming along nicely. It was really cold, like I said, down to 25, and it did not care for that. I think that's an assassin bug. I'll have to look that up right there. He's like, what are you looking at, man? Alright, and then here, this I believe is a radish. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's got a lot of flowers on it, and I'm trying to let anything like that that's bolting now go ahead and flower out, and hopefully draw in a few bees as the season takes off. And then these are my ice cream banana trees, and you can see all of them have got at least a little bit of green at the top, so they all survive just fine. They're coming up. Over here I got a fig tree. This is the Italian honey fig, and you can see it's just now starting to put a little bit of growth out right here, so it'll be coming. It'll be coming. Then over here is my Shia Fig, and it's got growth all over the place, which is really nice. It's coming back quite nicely. I'm excited about that. Should be hopefully another nice harvest this year of figs. And then over here is mother fig tree, and again it's coming out, starting to leaf out a little bit, starting to put a little bit out, so I'm very pleased with that as well. All in all, the figs are looking really well. I was kind of worried because there was a lot of cold. I was afraid I'd lose some branches and such, but they're doing all right. My biggest goji berry right here, which I've taken a whole bunch of cuttings off of, because this thing is spreading out like crazy. I'm gonna have to probably do some trimming to shape it a little bit. And then down in here, man, I had so much of this longevity spinach, but if you look right there, you can see, even though it all froze back and died, it's all starting to come back now. Won't be long, we'll have a ton of that again. Alright, and then from there we're going to the garden proper. Alright, so there's my potato patch. No real potatoes growing up yet, nothing really sprouting but weeds. So I'll probably go in there at some point in the near future and start pulling some of that out. So that's it's still dormant, still waiting to go. Over here I got my onions. Now the onions are doing really well. You can see rows and rows, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of onion. Then this is my elephant garlic, right down this row. And then some more garlic that I'd planted, but didn't really come up too well. So we're waiting to see how that all works out. And then, but this garlic here, in this row right there, in the middle, that is the garlic that I sprouted in the house in water. Now in order to get this fence put in, I had to cut back my lemongrass pretty severely, which this one in particular was so big that I had to go ahead and take an axe to it, chop it in half. But you can see it's starting to sprout back up, come back. I'll fill in them holes now that I got the fence built with some compost. I'm sure it'll do just great. Now over on this side, this is just bare dirt right now. I'll probably put some more potatoes in there. This is the Daikon Radish, but I'm letting it go to seed once again, so that we get some flowers and hopefully attract some bees. I don't see any right at the moment. Oh, what's that? Nope. No, that's a beetle, not a bee. But I have seen some flying around here and there. Then over here, this is kind of a mess. I got a little bit of garlic in there. That is some cauliflower that's going to seed. Once again, just letting it go. I did not blanch it, so it really kind of got a little bit bitter on me. So we're letting that go, see how it goes. And then down in here, some borage, which seems to be doing quite well. I had some flower heads, but they kind of froze off. You can kind of see down in there the dead stuff. Right in there. But didn't really get any flowers. So on this side I got some carrots and beets. And then in amongst them weeds. But I'm clearing this side out. I think I'm going to put corn in here again after I get that little bit of fence right there set up around it so that the animals don't eat it. So what had happened over here, you see my new fence, that I put in. That's all brand new, and I put that up because the ducks were getting in and just mowing down my veggies. Just tearing them up. It was rough, man. My Loquat trees, you can see up there. Let's see if I can get a nice little video or picture of that. You can see right there, there's some loquats there and there. So I got quite a bit coming. Hopefully, we'll get a nice harvest of loquats this year. We like to make jelly out of them and eat them. They're a fantastic snack, man. I'm gonna tell you what. It's so nice to be able to come out here and get something nice and sweet, juicy. All right, and then over on this side, I've got my chives right there in a row, and you can see they're flowering out right there. Next to the chives, along that row right there, is some radishes. That's some French breakfast radishes, and then next to that is chard. And you can see the chard. We did harvest some of that, but most of that was damaged from ducks. Man, the ducks come in and just ate me out of house and home. Same thing with this. That's the red chard, and then over on this side is the white chard. And again, they just chomped it down. So that's why I went out, spent the money, put in some fence work that'll hopefully keep them out. I mean, yeah, I know they can fly, but they're lazy. They don't like to. This is some more garlic. Hopefully that'll do two things. Grow me some garlic and hopefully protect this bed to a certain extent. Same thing with the oregano here. Idea is to hopefully, you know, confuse the pests and have them go somewhere else. All right, and back in here is a lot of stuff that's left over. This is a gigantic mustard. That is a collard green. The mustard's going to seed, and once again, I'm trying to get, you know, some flowers. I did see a lot of bees on this earlier in the week, but I don't see them right now. Let me see. No, I don't see any. Same thing with this broccoli. I mean, I know I got heads, but again, I'm kind of waiting for them to flower like that, and hopefully draw in some pollinators. Got to give them bees something to eat, you know. And even though, like I said, I haven't seen any bees here the last couple of days, the other day I saw quite a few. And then we got a little bit of tatsoi up in here, a little bit of lettuce, some carrots growing, some more of the mustard going to flower, going to seed. Alright, another mustard plant there. Now over in here, I got a row of carrots, and then behind that a little bit of broccoli, which it looks like they knocked down a bit when they were in there messing around. And then behind the broccoli, I've got some spinach, which actually is doing pretty good for me. I mean, spinach doesn't do real well here for some reason. And behind that, some white radish, and then behind that, some lettuce. And it's growing all right so far. I'm afraid it's going to get too hot. Right now it is like 87 degrees on my back patio, and 94 degrees in my greenhouse. And then this is my salad garden, essentially. It does have some other stuff like dill. There's a couple of broccoli plants in there, some chard, lettuce, both the black-seeded Simpson and some Merlot lettuce. Then we got bunching onions in there as well, down along here. You see the onions in the background and amongst the lettuce. Some cilantro and a little bit of dill. So it's all growing nicely, actually. This bed is doing very well. Here is my strawberries, which I just had to pull back and try and kill off the ants. Man, I had a huge ant pile in here, which I just did a video. I'll be probably putting that out day after tomorrow, once I get it all edited up and all. But the strawberries doing good. I've got some baby strawberries, lots of flowers. If I can get this ant problem solved, then I'll get it all set back up and get the strawberries poking back up through the cloth again. Probably do that tomorrow. This is my square foot garden, which I have not yet planted. Really kind of waiting. I know it is the average last frost date. But the problem with that is that we have gotten late frost before. So I'm kind of holding off until probably next week. And I'll plant stuff in the ground next week, and I'll put out my my different tomato starts and various other plants probably the week after that. It's really hard though when it's 87 degrees out to not go for it. And I'm like, I really want to plant some stuff. All right, let's go back over here. Alright, so this is my Moringa trees, which I did chop them back before it froze. They still feel solid, so hopefully I'll start getting some sprouted growth coming off of them. I don't see anything quite yet. Maybe, I don't know what that is, I'll be honest with you. So we'll see, but hopefully we'll get some growth off of those. Up in here, these are my papayas, and dude, they feel dead. I'll be honest with you. The papayas, you know, they were, gosh, almost 6 foot tall. They all laid down and died, so I don't think anything is going to happen there, sadly. Some milkweed. This is one of my pomegranate trees. It's starting to leaf out now, starting to look good. It's got a little, it's in a pot, but it's got a little bit of cilantro growing up in the bottom there as well. Some of the purple mustard, which likes to come back. That's all volunteer. Then of course my lemongrass back here. And then this is one of my plum trees. And let's see here, you got flowers all over the place. But if you look in there, you can see a few little plums starting to grow. So I've been trying to water pretty heavily just to make sure that I keep these growing. But yeah, there's a bunch of plums coming, and I got more flowers up there. This is all the lemongrass, which is dead. I'm going to end up cutting all this back here pretty shortly. And then this is our butterfly garden. But as you can see, not a lot going on right now. A lot of it has died back. So we're just gonna have to see how that goes. Another one of my plum trees, and once again it's got quite a few plums on it, and it's still getting some flowers at the tips. So I'm hoping we'll get a nice plum harvest. Man, I love plum jelly. Another Loquat tree that's doing pretty well. And then you can see I got a lot of frost damage. I was actually starting to get mulberries, and you can see there's some tiny mulberries right there, all up in there. And they're starting to come back, but you can see also the dead leaves where it actually froze off. A lot of dead leaves. There's some of the culprits, some dang geese come in here and try and eat me out of house and home. This here is my hugelkultur. You can see I just put wood down along, and something's been eating the bugs out of the wood and tearing that up, and that's okay. I want it to rot down anyway. So we'll just continue to let that rot down, and then it'll be somewhat of a mound. I'm going to plant some tomatoes up in there, so I did plant some mustard and a few other things. Just kind of let it go, and then I'll take all that out, put some compost down before I start planting in it this year. Alright, let's go look at the shade garden. Now, in the shade garden, I have a Loquat tree, which got a little bit beat up. You can see from the frost and so on, and some bugs, I guess, looks like. But it's coming back, it's looking good. So I'll have a third good sized Loquat here shortly, probably a couple more years. Shade garden, once again, this is one of the issues. The ducks got in here and just tore it up, man. I mean, just tore it up. So I went back and planted some bok choy in there. But my bok choy is actually starting to bolt. Let's see, which one is it? They're starting to get a few flower heads, so I don't think it's going to be cool enough for the bok choy to actually grow. But that's alright, I'll put something else in there. The Merlot lettuce is looking really weak, but it got chomped down to nothing. So we'll see if it continues to grow. One of the disadvantages to a shade garden is that you don't get a lot of sun. If you don't get a lot of sun, it doesn't grow nearly as fast. So we're going to see again. We're going to try it again this year and see how it works. Some of the other trees we got. This is our kumquat tree, and we harvested a bunch of kumquats. My wife made kumquat marmalade. I'm not a big marmalade fan, but her and the kids love it. So we got some of that put away. Our olive tree that's never made olives. Persimmon stick, which hopefully will become a persimmon tree. Then over here, here's another peach tree. Hadn't really gone full blown yet. You got little bitty buds and all. And it's still flexible, so I'm pretty sure it's still alive. But it's doing alright. Doing okay so far. It's still young. It's still early. Another pomegranate tree here. The pear tree did have a bunch of buds on it. I don't really see any baby pears. You can see like there's a bud right there fixing to pop. I don't see any pears at all. Well, that's one that might form. We'll see. We haven't really gotten any pears from this. I think we got one the first year and one the second year. So, and then here's one I did from cuttings. That's one of my air layering success there. You can see it's coming back again. Has a few flowers on it. And we'll see. Maybe it'll actually come up. Now this is my other peach tree. You can see it's actually just now starting to put out flowers. See some flowers up in there. A bunch more over there. So it's flowering out real nice. And then this is one of my orange trees. And this one here, again, you can see it lost a lot of leaves from the cold weather. But it's growing back. A lot of little baby leaves up in there. So I think this will be all looking real good and healthy here very shortly. Over here is some more of my, well, this is supposed to be my hedge of mulberry. I got to chop it down. It's got a few little mulberries starting here and there, so I'm sure we'll have a bunch of mulberries on that very shortly. This is my other peach tree, which I got to look it up. I can't remember which variety it is, but look, it's already got peaches that are good size. I mean, that's fatter than my thumb. So it's already starting to put out some fruit. It had a ton of flowers on it earlier. So we got quite a bit actually coming in. So I'm very pleased with that. And you still got a lot of blooms that are slowly developing into peaches. So I'm very excited about this peach tree. We got a lot of peaches off of it last year. And that was the first year it had been in the ground. So I'm actually very pleased with this one. I gotta look it up and see which one it is. And then my hedge that I cut down, it used to be taller than my house. So I cut it down, and then you can see it's starting to flower. And these flowers draw a ton of bees. So I'm leaving it alone, not gonna mess with it until after the flowers die back. And once they do, I'll go ahead and trim it back and make it look like a real hedge again. And then over here, I want to show you this. My wife is so excited about this. So let me see if I can find them. Alright, so if you look right there, those are buds coming out on my orange tree. Alright, it lost a lot of leaves as well, but now they're all coming back. And man, I'm gonna tell you, there are buds everywhere on this tree. I mean, there's a bunch of them up there, some more there, some over there. I mean, it is looking real good. So I would love to get some oranges off this tree. We have yet to get any oranges. We've had lemons and kumquats and peaches, nectarines, even got some pineapples from my pineapple patch over here. But have yet to get any oranges. Now over here, like I said, this is my pineapples. They're looking pretty rough, but they survived. All right. Another year we had put them. We didn't have them right next to the house like this, and man, they all died. I mean, just completely froze off and died. And then, of course, I got my water jug, which I really love, man. Collecting that rainwater, it is so good to use on the plants. And then down here, we got our Suriname spinach there. That's starting to come back. And then we got the longevity spinach, which is coming back strong. So really happy about that. They tend to grow right, very well right here. Alright. And let's go over here and take a look in the greenhouse. Got a lot of stuff in the greenhouse, and then outside these are all tomatoes over here, various types. Right along there. And then I've got more tomatoes in there. Which I'll be honest with you, every time I try planting in peat pots, it's almost like plants don't like the peat pots. Not really sure why. So I put them out here and make sure you get plenty of sun, but I don't know about the whole peat pot thing. I would not have bought them. They were given to me. Otherwise, I never would have spent the money on them. Alright, in here, I've got all kind of stuff. I got pepper plants along the bottom that I dug out and kept them in the greenhouse, and so far I've actually got a pepper right there, another what kind is it? I forget what kind of pepper that is there, and a pepper there. I actually got them growing inside the greenhouse. A couple of the tomatoes, but now I will tell you that the tomatoes don't do well in here because it stays so moist. So, but they are starting to put out some blooms, so I might actually have some tomatoes. I got to get in here and clean them up and try and get rid of all them dead leaves. Over here I've got kale and what is that? Collards. And then some purple peppers. And some regular bells and a tomato they got in there from somewhere, I have no idea. Some more of my baby tomatoes trying to grow. And then those are the cuttings that I took and made into tomato plants. And then that is my cucumelons. My nasturtiums, which I've only gotten 4 out of 12 so far. Some cabbage, and then cucumbers in there. I'm going to plant them direct seed, and I'm going to try with the, the starts. Down here, these are both different types of basil. And if you look back in here, all that there, that is my toothache plant, which has got some nice little flowers on it, which are pretty cool. I'm kind of excited about that. Supposedly if you eat it, it'll make your mouth numb. That's why it's called toothache plant. Then we'll take a quick jaunt inside, and then I'll let you go about your business. Alright, our little patio garden here has done very well. You can see I've got some tatsoi down there, first row. Behind that is some celery, and then behind that is some forward hook giant chard, and then some flowers and a little bit of oh gosh, what is that? Chamomile right there. Some more chamomile there, and some other flowers that Mama put in. And then this is our spinach, which is looking pretty rough. I'm gonna have to probably dig all that out and replant. Then along here I have various starts and plants like some chards, some bok choy, thyme. My lettuce did fantastic in here. Looks a little rough right now because I had family over, so we chopped a whole bunch of it down, but it's actually going very well. We've gotten a really nice harvest of lettuce out of these little bit of little tiny pots. Here's some more of that Merlot lettuce, which again we just chopped back to feed everybody. A little bit of mint, some more tomatoes, yarrow, more mint. These are cucumelons, which I'm probably going to get in the ground here very shortly. And that is some holy basil and a little bit of cilantro in a tiny pot trying to go to seed. So that's pretty much where we're at. Alright, so it is the 7th of March, like I've said before, and it is 87 degrees out, hotter than all get out, and it is so tempting right now to put out all my plants. But I've been burned before, or actually frozen. So I know that it's probably not a good idea to start doing that quite yet. I'm going to wait. I'll probably put the plants that I'm going to direct seed, I'll start doing that this week. But I won't put the starts out quite yet because, you know, I've been burned before, like I said, or frozen, like I said, before, where we had a late frost and it killed off all my tomato starts and such. So I'm going to wait. I'll probably give it another week, and then by the middle, towards the end of next week, If I don't see any frost in that 10-day forecast, then I'll probably go ahead and start putting out my starts. They're fine in the pots they're in right now, and they'll continue to grow up. And I'd like to get that greenhouse cleared out, get it out here, and start getting things really growing well. But don't get too excited here. I mean, well, I'll tell you what. You do what you think is right. I'm not going to get excited, because if I get too excited and start putting stuff out too soon, then I could end up losing all my starts by getting them froze off after I've already got them put in the ground. Because it's kind of hard to get them back out of the ground and put them back in the greenhouse. Alright, that's my plan so far. Again, I'm going to start seeding. Anything I'm going to direct seed this week. Start looking at putting starts out next week. So the middle of March, I'll be able to see that 10-day forecast, and as long as I don't have frost in the forecast, I'll go ahead and start doing the tip. Alright, well, that's what I got going on. Thanks once again for stopping by. Do me a favor, give me a like and a subscribe, and let me know what you think. Give me some ideas of what you're doing and how you're going about it. But other than that, get something in the ground. Grow something. Alright, these are strange and challenging times. I highly recommend everybody get some food growing in their backyard. Alright, thanks once again for stopping by. Y'all take care and come back and see me.